Hello and welcome to Idea TV News Update. I am Chinatu Oje. We begin with the headlines. KADUNA launches vocational training institute to graduate 32,000 learners annually. KWARA Police Commissioner warns officers against extortion and unlawful phone searches. Researchers stresses role of mentorship in shaping future scientists. Kenyan police boss human trafficking ring recruiting citizens to fight for Russia in Ukraine. Away from Africa, FBI fires dozens of agents over kneeling during George Floyd protest. And in health, Foundation trains nurses and expectant mothers on mental health management. In business, Dangote refinery suspends petrol sales in NAIRA amid growing sector tensions. And in sport, Dolphins women return to glory with second basketball league title. Now the news in full. The Kaduna state government has unveiled plans to train and graduate about 32,000 learners every year through its newly established Institute of Vocational Training and Skills Development. The initiative, which is part of efforts to reduce unemployment and build a skilled workforce, will operate from campuses in Rigachikun, Soba and Samaru Kataf, all equipped with modern training facilities. The institute offers 14 trade areas accredited by the National Board of Technical Education, including masonry, plumbing, carpentry, welding, electrical installation, solar systems, refrigeration and air conditioning, mechatronics, ICT, hardware, catering and fashion design. According to the Commissioner for Information, Malam Ahmed Mayaki, the program delivers 80% practical training and is designed to empower youth to become both employable and self-reliant. Mayaki explained that the vocational model is structured to accommodate all learners with morning and afternoon shifts and special consideration for women, persons with disabilities and vulnerable groups such as the Almajiris. Short-term courses of 3 months will lead to unit competence certificates, while longer programs of 6 to 12 months will culminate in full NSQ qualifications under the Nigeria Skills Qualification Framework. The provost of the institute, Malam Hussaini Haruna Muhammad, stated that the training aims to produce graduates who are workplace ready and globally competitive. He noted that the institute combines experienced instructors, master craft persons, and retired industry practitioners to deliver quality training. With full NBTE accreditation, the center forms part of the federal government's wider technical and vocational education and training drive, beginning with 2,000 learners in its first phase and scaling up to 32,000 annually. And in KWARA, the Commissioner of Police, Adekimi Ojo, has warned officers of the command extortion, harassment, unlawful phone searches, and profiling of youths as internet fraudsters will no longer be tolerated. Speaking in Ilorin on Friday while addressing senior officers, Ojo noted that the directive was in line with instructions of the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun. He emphasized that any officer found engaging in human rights violation or misconduct would face the strictest disciplinary sanctions. According to him, officers who interfere in civil cases, conduct illegal phone searches, or wrongfully brand youth as Yahoo boys are committing serious offenses. He further stressed that indiscriminate phone checks on roads are banned unless a device has been confirmed as an exhibit in an active investigation. Ojo assured residents, especially students and young people, that the police would continue to protect their dignity and fundamental rights. He added that the era of intimidation and wrongful profiling of citizens in KWARA State had come to an end, urging young people to remain law-abiding while cooperating with security agencies. Meanwhile, the command announced that enforcement of its tinted glass permits would begin on October 2, 2025. Motorists without valid permits or those using fake or expired ones will be prosecuted within 24 hours. Police spokesperson SP Adetun Ejiri urged drivers to carry original permits and advise the public to report cases of extortion through designated complaint channels. Moving on, a Nigerian researcher, Dr. Chinaza Okore Humphrey, has emphasized the critical role of mentorship in academia, describing it as essential to shaping the future of young scientists. In a statement on Friday, the biochemistry, food chemistry, and biotechnology specialist noted that guiding the next generation is as important as making research breakthroughs. Okore Humphrey explained that mentorship ensures that scientific progress is sustained and expanded. Research can open new doors, but mentorship makes sure others can walk through them. Those were her words. Her greatest achievement is not just in lab, but in seeing students she has guided go further than she imagined. adding that every shared conversation or lab session is a seed planted in the future of food science. She stated that mentorship builds not only researchers but also leaders capable of addressing both the scientific and social dimensions of global food challenges. According to her, this aligns with UNESCO's call for stronger mentorship pipelines across Africa to boost research capacity and sustainability. Okore Humphrey further highlighted that food innovation grows not only in laboratories but also in classrooms, research groups and mentorship relationships. Citing global perspectives, she stressed that preparing young scientists requires both technical skills and leadership development. She said, science is not only about experiment, it's also about courage, the courage to ask new questions and to imagine food systems that serve everyone. And in Kenya, the police have dismantled a suspected human trafficking network that was luring citizens with fake job offers in Russia, but intended to send them to the battlefield in Ukraine. The operation followed an intelligence-led raid on an apartment in Atai River near Nairobi, where 22 Kenyans were rescued and recruitment materials, job offer letters and travel documents were seized. According to authorities, the victims had been promised lucrative employment in Moscow, but were instead being prepared for deployment to fight with the Russian military. Detectives revealed that many of the victims signed contracts with a foreign agency, agreeing to pay up to $18,000 for visas, travel, and accommodation, with some already paying deposits of $1,500. One suspect accused of coordinating the scheme has been arrested and remanded for further investigation. Officials noted a disturbing trend of Kenyans being trafficked abroad under false promises of work, only to return home injured, traumatized, or in some cases never return at all. 2 Kenyans recently made it back from Ukraine, with one currently receiving medical treatment in a Nairobi hospital, with reports indicating that several Kenyans may still be held as prisoners of war in Ukraine, alongside nationals from Somalia, Sierra Leone, Togo, Cuba, Sri Lanka, and other countries. Concerns remain over the lack of strong intervention by some governments to secure the release of the citizens caught up in the conflict. Away from Africa now, the United States Federal Bureau of Investigation, FBI, has dismissed more than a dozen agents who were photographed kneeling during the 2020 racial justice protests in Washington, D.C., following the death of George Floyd. The agents were initially reassigned last year but have now been permanently removed from service. Sources familiar with the matter revealed that the agents knelt as a possible de-escalation tactic during the demonstrations, which were parts of nationwide protests against police brutality and racial injustice. FBI Director Kash Patel defended the decision, while the FBI Agents Association strongly condemned the move, describing it as unlawful and violation of the agents' constitutional rights. Although the exact number of agents dismissed remains unclear, estimates suggest between 15 and 22 were affected. The association has now called on Congress to investigate the matter, alleging that the firings are part of a broader purge under Patel's leadership aimed at reshaping the Bureau. Critics argue the dismissals are retaliatory and have contributed to declining morale among FBI personnel. Recent lawsuits filed by former FBI officials claim Patel played a direct role in deciding who was dismissed, despite acknowledging concerns about the legality of the actions. While Patel has denied acting under White House pressure, the wave of firings has included agents and senior executives previously involved in politically sensitive investigations for the fueling controversy over the Bureau's internal shakeup. Let's now go on a quick break. The news continues when we return.
Smart apps. Smart apps leverage AI and machine learning to provide personalized user experiences and automate tasks. These apps are being used across sectors like finance, healthcare, and retail to improve customer engagement and operational efficiency. For example, smart investment apps offer tailored financial advice, while healthcare apps assist in diagnostics. However, data privacy remains a concern as these apps collect sensitive user information. The market for smart apps is projected to grow to $62.4 billion by 2025.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is still Idea TV News Update. Now, the rest of the stories. In health, the Cope and Live Mental Health Awareness Foundation, CAMHAV, has trained 25 nurses and expectant mothers on strategies for managing mental health challenges. The training held at Ozala Health Center near Enugu aimed at fostering resilience, emotional well-being, and positive social change in local communities. Executive Director of CAMHAV, Reverend Chukudiebu Benwachuku, said the initiative was part of the organization's support for Caregivers Initiative (SCGI) and Mother to Mother Initiative (MTMI). He explained that the program created a supportive environment where participants learn to identify mental health challenges, address them effectively, and become advocates for wellness within their families and workplaces. The training covered topics such as recognizing symptoms of poor mental health, understanding common mental illnesses, the effect of family dynamics and domestic stress, and the dangers of excessive screen time. It also emphasized self-care, emotional intelligence, resilience building, and the importance of supportive networks in overcoming challenges. Participants also assessed their own levels of depression and anxiety using internationally recognized tools. Some attendees shared personal takeaways from the session. Mrs. Gloria UNLAWFUL, an expectant mother, said she has resolved to cut down on mobile phone use to focus more on family bonding. And as Mrs. Judy Dizuchiku noted that she gained valuable knowledge about emotional intelligence and resilience, which will help her care for her patients and maintain her own well-being. And now in business. The Dangote Petroleum Refinery has announced the suspension of petrol sales in NAIRA, citing the exhaustion of its crude 4 NAIRA allocation. In a notice to customers yesterday evening, the refinery said the suspension will take effect from tomorrow, September 28, 2025, and advised those with ongoing NAIRA transactions to request funds. The move has unsettled marketers and raised concerns about possible pressure on fuel pricing and foreign exchange. This is not the first time the refinery has altered NAIRA sales, as a similar suspension happened in March 2025 and sparked fears of dollarization in the downstream sector and sharp increases in pump prices. Analysts now warn that petrol could climb above 900 naira per litre if sales are shifted predominantly to foreign currency. The development also comes at a time of growing industrial unrest. Labour unions have accused the refinery of anti-worker practices following the terminations of hundreds of employees, threatening nationwide solidarity action if the matter is not resolved. Union leaders now argue that refinery decisions are unjust and could worsen social and economic tensions. With the refinery playing a pivotal role in Nigeria's energy security, stakeholders warn that the suspension of NAIRA sales combined with ongoing labor disputes could undermine government's efforts to stabilize the petroleum sector. Observers say the twin challenges may fuel market volatility and put additional strain on reforms aimed at restoring confidence in the energy sector. And now in sports, after a decade-long wait, Dolphins women reclaimed the Nigerian Women's Basketball League crown, marking a powerful comeback that honors the vision of their late founder, Awale Aboderin. His death in 2018 has thrown the club into uncertainty, sparking an exodus of players and fears of disbandment. Yet, through resilience and a strong grassroots foundation, the team rebuilt itself and rose again to national prominence. At the 2025 Zenith Bank Nigeria Women's Basketball League Final 8, Dolphins proved unstoppable. They maintained an unbeaten streak, battling former champion First Bank to 53-53 time regulation before stealing a 61-55 overtime victory. It was not just a championship win, it was a statement of belief, resilience, and a living tribute to the legacy of Aboderin. Guided by club director Lumide Oyedeji and head coach Peter Akindele, the team had leaned on grassroots development to withstand player dispatchers and sustain competitiveness. Akindele emphasized that replacements are always ready, pointing to emerging stars like Ajani, the youngest player in the league, who finished as a third-best three-point shooter. Their strategy of combining league participation with tournament and academy games has kept the squad sharp and competitive, with new talent like league MVP Awele Oko and scoring leader Tewogbade Mololuwa stepping up. Dolphins are already looking ahead to continental competition. The players and management believe that this title marks the beginning of a new era with a clear ambition to represent Nigeria on the African stage. For Dolphins women, the triumph is breaking a decade-long drought but laying the foundation for sustained dominance. And that's all we have for you, Nigeria TV News Updates. But before we go, here's a recap of the headlines. We brought you news that Kaduna has launched Vocational Training Institute to graduate 32,000 learners annually. You also heard that KWARA Police Commissioner warns officers against extortion and unlawful phone searches. Researchers stresses role of mentorship in shaping future scientists. Kenyan police bust human trafficking ring, recruiting citizens to fight for Russia in Ukraine. Away from Africa, FBI fires dozens of agents over kneeling during George Floyd protests. And in health, Foundation trains nurses and expectant mothers on mental health management. In business, Dangote Refinery suspends petrol sales in NAIRA amid growing sector tensions. And in sports, finally, Dolphins women return to glory with second basketball league title. Do not forget to follow us across all our different social media platforms at Idea Television. I am Chinatu Oji. Thank you for watching.